So what does your VA disability claim and a casino have in common? Stand by because that is the topic of today's video. But first, my name's Mark, and I make these videos so you, the veteran, don't lose almost a decade of your lives and almost $100,000 in unrealized benefits like I did. So hopefully you can watch these videos and win for free. But if you can't because you're too frustrated, you don't have the time, the energy, whatever, and you need help, I do run a company, a consulting company called Veteran Nexus. You can sign up at veterannexus.org. It's the place where veterans get the service they deserve and win their claims. So if you can't remove the free part of your claim, at least we can remove the time and the pain. So sign up if you're interested. And with that, I have one more disclaimer for you all. Anything you hear in these videos is for educational and entertainment purposes. I am not an accredited agent or an attorney or a lawyer. None of this is legal, medical, financial advice. It is all for educational purposes from my experience. So let's get into the video. What does your VA disability claim and the casino have in common? Well, what do you think about when you think of a casino? I know I think about games, dice, craps, cards, slot machines, roulette wheels, all kinds of different games that involve chance. So that's what I want you to get in your heads real quick, is that the similarity is that there is a game of chance going on every time you submit your claim. Because if you've seen my previous video on the weighted process, your claim needs to be as heavy or heavier than the VA's claim that you're not service connected. And there's a game of chance going on there because it's subjective, right? There's a lot of subjectivity. Unless you're a vet that has just the most solid evidence, like you've been in multiple car accidents, you have the evidence, you have the diagnosis all in service, you went to the hospital all throughout your service. The truth is many of us didn't have that opportunity. A lot of us faced judgment, a lot of us didn't go because we drank the Kool-Aid, and now we're suffering for it. So we have to fight for our benefits, and because of that, there is a game of chance. So to drive this point home, I want to share a couple stories with you of veterans I talked to in recent times. There are three of them. One vet, 10% for tinnitus, right? And he was going for a secondary, and this guy walked away with 100% on that secondary. No one was more surprised than he was. He was confused. Like, I wasn't even going for that. I just thought I'd submit a secondary claim. He thought his claim was really weak, and the evidence was really weak that he submitted with his claim. And he was confused. And then you get the second veteran who's a Vietnam vet, multiple combat tours, shot multiple times, walks away with a 10% on his PTSD. And then you get the third veteran, also a combat veteran in recent times. He basically picked up what he thought was an IED. It was a dud. And a lot of you listening from recent times thinks that's stupid, but he was taking IDF on a one-way street and they were stuck. He decided to run out there and do that because his crew was just sitting there. Everyone saw it. He had an award for it. Turned out to be a dud, thankfully. And he still lost his combat PTSD claim. And you look at these three situations and you're like, what happened? Like, why does one person win, the other people lose or get underrated? And look, none of them are lying. I'm not calling any of these guys liars, right? That's not what I'm saying. They all have legitimate claims, obviously, based on truthfulness, but it's more of a quality assurance thing. Well, why is it this way? And we've all been on the other end of that, myself included. And so we're here to talk about that today, like why that happens and what you can do about it. So when you're thinking about the random chance here, I think there are two things going on at the VA with your claim. And the real thing that's going on, fellas, is there's no like perfect way to do this. There needs to be a system. The systems break down. And when you look at the VA's website, they actually have a self-reported error percentage. I think it's 10% if I'm reading it right. So that means 10% of claims, as they measure it, right? That's as the VA measures it, are their mistakes. Well, I think that number is like 30%, to be honest, based on my own experience with my own claims. And you guys all and girls know that that's probably true for you as well. But that's because they have a system in place and it's such a big organization. And so they have processes where people check your records, right? A representative will grab them, and then somebody else might look at them, and then the rater will look at the whole thing and make a decision. Well, if the process sucks or someone makes a mistake throughout that process, like if someone makes a mistake at the beginning when they're gathering your records, then the whole thing is dead on arrival, because if they didn't find something that was important right up front, it'll go through the process, sure, but you're waiting months for no reason if they made a mistake way up here. If you're going for combat PTSD and they missed the records of your combat action or your stressor form or whatever, well, you're going to get a pretty stupid denial letter, even if it goes through the system. You're going to be upset at the end of that. That's just an example, right? And that's the process. So the second thing you're fighting against is the human error aspect, because the VA sets up a system that's supposed to be unbiased, meaning human error, human bias, human judgment. It's not supposed to play a factor. But until they get a machine to do all this stuff accurately, a human is a human is a human, regardless of what industry they're in. And we've all been there, right? You're supposed to be biased, but then subconsciously you are, and that still impacts your decision. I mean, consciously you can be like really dutiful about it, but underneath, if you feel bad, that's still going to impact your decision on some level. And look, I'm not saying it happens all the time. I'm just saying that human nature dictates that it probably happens some of the time, and you don't want to be a victim of that. And I liken that as the house having all the power, and if you don't stack the deck in your favor, and I'm not telling you to lie, what I'm saying is if you don't do things cleanly, accurately, if you don't make things easy for the raider, then you're just giving the house all the power in the world. So let's talk about what you can do, even though you're dealing with this game of chance with the processes at the VA. As they're processing your claim, are they doing everything right? And then you're also messing with the human nature part. You're playing against it at the casino, right, in this analogy. Well, what you can do to stack things in your favor is, one, submit something that doesn't look horrid, like label things right. Make sure you're not shoving all 1,500 pages of your record in your claim thinking that's going to help you. That's just going to make things more complex for the people on the other end of this table, so to speak. What you want to do is ask yourself, how could I make this easier for the raider so they don't make a mistake? I mean, some folks, when myself included in the beginning, when we submit our stuff, like we don't even label it with a date or what it is. It just says like 5/23/2005. It's okay, what does that mean, right? There's a date on there, but is it a photo? Is it a buddy letter? Is it your statement, right? Is it like a Nexus letter? Like those are the worst. If you have a Nexus letter and they're not labeled right and they miss it. Because I've been in my claims folder and it is a gaggle. It has everything from every claim I've ever submitted in there. And my agent showed me once, and man, that was rough. I was like, no wonder they missed stuff. They may have changed it, they may have not. The point is, label things right, make it easy for that other side to help you. And to remove the human element, same thing. You don't want to piss them off. So when you write a personal statement, just understand that it shouldn't just be this angry letter to the VA. That's not going to do anything for you most times. You want to make it logical and as short as possible so they can make a decision and move on with their day. They will appreciate that. And I say that because I would. I don't work at the VA. I don't have the inner workings at the VA. But I'm a human, and I can tell you, if they're working hard and you make it easy for them, they'll probably appreciate it most times. Now, there's almost this topic I forgot about. You still have to spin the raider roulette, and you still have to spin the doctor roulette, because doctor roulette doesn't roll off the tongue that well. I got to find a different nickname for that. But when you're dealing with the human beings in this process, there's also a game of chance going on, because you have a doctor. You don't know what type of doctor they're going to be. They might be a brand new doctor. They might be a happy doctor, an angry doctor. You don't know who you're going to get. And so one thing you can do to stack things in your favor is understand the DBQ for the condition you're getting seen for. Because if you understand what that doctor is going to ask you, you can figure out what you want to talk to them about. For example, if you only have 5 minutes to talk to this doctor about your history, your problems, things like that, you probably don't want to talk about things that aren't on that form. That's not legal advice. That's just my experience and my opinion. That's what I would do. Now with the raider, you don't really get to interact with them at all. Same thing, you just don't want to piss them off with an angry letter. And right there, you've just reduced that chance that things go wrong for you. You can't remove the chance, right? You cannot, unless you have like the most solid evidence in the world. You can't remove the chance, but you can reduce it so that you don't lose over something stupid, like them missing a form, you making somebody mad, etc. Because you wait five months every time you submit a claim. On average, you're waiting about 5 months. So, that's something you can do. And really, to go with the casino terms here, going with the theme, you can change tables, right? If you try something, it's not working, get up and go to a different table. It's the same game, right? You're just dealing with a different table that has a different dealer and set of people. For example, if you're using a VSO and you lose, go try something else. Whether that something else is educating yourself or using a company, just do it. Do something else except the thing that's just constantly getting you loss after loss. So try that, right? If you use a company that you have bad experience, go use a different company, right? It's all the same thing. You go with who you like and how you feel about that person or that company. So, change tables if you have to. So you're in this game of chance with the VA. You're dealing with the systems and you're dealing with the raiders and the doctors. You're spinning the wheels and you're rolling the dice unless you have the most bulletproof evidence that you could possibly have. So make sure that you're positioning yourself in a way to where the deck is stacked in your favor. But as a bonus, the last thing I want to say about this is, when you are at a casino, you're gambling with money, hopefully money you can lose. You run out of money and you have to stop playing, you go home. With your VA disability claim, one thing that is unique and in a way we'll call it good is you're gambling with time. And you have as much time as you have. It could be said it's the most finite currency out there. That's not for this video though, but you can keep filing claims until you run out of time. And hopefully you're not in that position because you want to win this as fast as you can and just move on to living the best life you possibly can. This is not what you want to be doing for 30 years. Take care of this problem and move on. And yeah, you are gambling with money in a way because you have unrealized benefits. Let's say you're supposed to be at 70% and you're at 10. Well, every month you're like losing $1,400 or something. Doing the math sometimes on camera is hard, but you're losing a lot of money each month. It's just not coming right out of your pocket. That's why it feels different, but you feel the pain and the regret from it, so you're still losing, and you got to change that. So you can keep trying though, that's the good part, but make sure you get everything you deserve as fast as possible. Use whatever strategy is going to work with you. Go with who you want to go, and that is why I think that a VA disability claim does have things in common with a casino, because you're playing with all that, with the time, with the chance, with other people, right? So there are similarities. So if you got any value from this video, I hope you apply it, one. But please tell your friends, your other vet buddies, and like and subscribe. Leave a comment in the comment section. I want to keep talking about things that my audience wants me to talk about. And I like diving into the psychology behind the claims, not just the factual stuff, but these little in-betweens that will help you win, that no one else is really talking about. So with that, thank you for watching, giving me your time, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care now.